Yeah, and I didn't want to stay in the bed, so the cover went get me in my wheelchair and push me down the hallway, and we would take our strides, and me attempting to walk down the hallway, even though I barely made it, really ever down the hallway until my very last day. And so on the day that I thought I was being discharged, the doctor came back that evening and was like, well, no, we have to keep you because your hemoglobin dropped again. So at that point, I was just really pissed off and just hurt because I'm just like, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to see my kids. And the COVID had been taking off work to stay with me at the hospital. And I didn't want what I had going on to affect him and things that he had going on in his life. But he didn't care. He didn't care. So his main focus was to get me healthy, and uh, he left and went home and packed the kids' bags and made sure they was okay at my mom's house. If he needed to pick them up to take them to school in the morning, he made sure he drove from Decatur to Mableton to make sure they was okay and to make sure I was okay. And I don't know if I would ever be able to repay him for that, because that was something that I needed. And I have this thing where I don't like asking people for things because I've always been the person to figure it out. And it's like I didn't have to ask him. He just kind of knew what to do. And I wholeheartedly thank him for that. But we got discharged, and I was super excited to get home and to see the kids and stuff like that, thinking that everything was going to be a-okay. And they sent me home with the pills and stuff that they was giving me in the hospital, keep the swelling down, set appointments up for me to get my heart checked. I had to do a heart monitor, set me up with appointments to do a camera peel to make sure that they checked the inside to see what was going on, why I couldn't retain iron. And so I got home and got a little stressed out over a situation, and I ended up having an episode at home, but it was a really bad one. And I've always had this thing where if I'm ever sick, I never want my kids to know. If I'm ever not feeling well, I don't want them to know. I never want them to see me hauled off in an ambulance or anything like that. But it was so bad that I couldn't walk. I passed out. I had to call my best friend Felicia to come from the east side to come and to help me, and to COVID help me. And I didn't want people to see me in that weakened state that I was in. And it was to a point where they had to call the ambulance to rush over there because I couldn't breathe. So their main thing was, we already know that y'all won't be able to do anything, but just to get some oxygen in her so that she can breathe. And so they gave me the oxygen stuff, and they were just like, we really need to go to the hospital. But at that point, I had got, and still to this day, I'm fearful of going to hospitals. I formed a fear of needles. I formed a fear of doctors because I'm afraid of dying in a hospital, because I already did once with the heart issue and the anaphylactic shock. And I just know that going somewhere where they don't truly understand what you have going on could lead to extremes. And I just didn't want to put myself through that, put him through it, put my best friend through it, and other friend Khalifa and his brother, and my kids through that, and my family. So I forced myself to sign the paper saying that I refused help. And I sat there and got myself together. My breathing wasn't fully in control. My wheezing, could tell the swelling was still there. It was horrible. I sound horrible, I know. And I felt slightly embarrassed because I've always been this super strong person, and now to show extreme signs of weakness where I needed help, I felt embarrassed over it, which I'm sure everybody else was more so concerned about my safety and my health. But I was embarrassed because it's unlike me. I haven't been unlike myself in 2.5 years now. And it's really a hard pill to swallow and a really difficult to adjust to. But I have great friends because they all stayed on downstairs to monitor me. I believe they took turns monitoring me. to make sure I was okay because I was so tired.